You guys make my heart. How corny am I today? I don't know. Hi everybody and welcome back. If you are watching this on the actual day, I wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day. If the day has already passed, hey, it's never too late to show anybody some love. So even if you're not watching this on Valentine's Day, make sure you show other people how much you love them, and don't forget to love yourself, right? So however you want to take that is totally up to you. Anyways, today I wanted to talk to you guys about what I like and dislike about Canada. What better way to talk about a love-hate relationship than Valentine's Day? Now, when you really love somebody, no matter how much you love them, there are days where you are just like, oh, I can't be around you right now. Don't talk to me. This quality about you is annoying me, whether that's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your kids, whatever. It just happens where the more you love something or someone, there's always times where you just kind of have things that you can't stand about it. I will not say hate because I feel like hate is such a strong negative word, but I find the opposite of, I'll say like, will stick to dislike today. Today I thought I would answer someone's question that actually came across to me on Instagram Live, which was, what do I like and dislike about Canada? And to be honest, I don't actually think I ever really thought about it until I had to think about it. So I was like, that's a very good question. What is my answer? Let's talk about what I like and dislike about Canada, and I'm gonna go over a couple things, and hopefully in my ramble somewhere I will get lost and ultimately come back to the point. So the first thing I will start with is a like, because I do love this country, and to me Canada is my home. I absolutely love Canada. I love the culture that I was raised with. I love the mannerisms that people have here of saying please and thank you and sorry. I love that when you go into a store, they'll be like, hi, welcome to the store. And then when you leave, they'll be like, have a good night. You'll hear someone say it and you're like, where did that voice come from? But someone somewhere is paying attention to you, and you never know. Like some days you could just be having a really bad day, and someone just coming up to you and saying hello, wishing you a good day can really change that. I know it's a bit robotic, but at the same time, sometimes it really works. And there are times where I've gone into a store and just like poured out my heart and like told them my whole story, just in efforts to find the right product, and more often than not, it has really helped me even build more friendships and connections along the way. And I really do like that. I do think that Canadians, true to their heart, are very good people, and I'm very proud to be able to call this my home. I would probably consider Canada more of my home than any other country I've ever lived in, or where I come from, or anything like that. And I think as you grow older, you begin to understand better what your real family is, where your real home is, and where your true happiness lies. So that's a really good thing. Now, on the flip side, I will say that because everyone is so nice all the time, sometimes there can be, I will say, like, sometimes you can get lost in translation. I don't know how else to say it, where everybody's so nice all the time. Sometimes you just don't know when it's genuine. And okay, so here's an example. When you meet people, they'll be like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Let's hang out. Like, we have to meet up. I want to meet your family, blah, blah, blah. But then when you go to make an appointment with people, it just doesn't happen. And this is something that I found a lot of people who've immigrated to Canada talk about. I have met countless people who say that this is a big thing for them. And I will totally agree. But again, In the cities, this is a lot more prevalent than in the smaller towns. When you go to the smaller towns, they really do have the sense of community. Everybody's so friendly, like genuinely friendly. You know, you can go to your neighbor for a cup of sugar or whatever, and it really does exist. That community culture does exist, but maybe it's also a city thing. So again, of all the cities I've lived in the world, Canada is the only place where even I have encountered that. And it's a little bit frustrating, and sometimes it can really make you feel bad about yourself because you wonder if it's something about you and that's why people don't want to see you. But it's not. It's just this culture of like, it's so fast paced. But don't forget, in that chaos, you will find really good friends. So don't discount every single person. Not everyone is like that, but it is just a very common thing that happens here. And I don't know why. I really don't know. Do I have a solution to it? My solution to it for you would be, don't change who you are. Don't become that way because you feel everyone is that way, because you will lose out on making some really, really genuinely good friends who will drive 2 o'clock in the morning with you to some shady little place just to get a burger. And I can tell you that I have really good friends who are like that. So that's kind of like that part, okay? The second thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to my like about Canada is that Canada is a community that cares. So whether you are at work and you feel like you're being subordinated, you're not being treated equally, there's some form of harassment going on, I really love that in Canada you can really stand up and speak up for when things are going wrong, and there always is some form of action that is taken to make sure that that stops. So recently, one of my friends was going through some stuff at work, and he was being, you know, ill-treated by his supervisor or whoever. And you know, when he called me and told me about this stuff, I told him that bring it up with the right department, whether that's human resources or that's the direct manager or the boss, and let them know that this is happening. And I think a lot of people, when things are going wrong, they victimize themselves and they're like, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe I did this, maybe that day when the manager asked me to do something and I said no, maybe I deserve this. No. If you know genuinely in your heart something is going wrong, speak up, but speak up to the right people. Don't make a scene. Just find the right department or the right people that you can reach out to and let them know, hey, this is going on. I don't like being made to feel like this at work. And this is something that I find in Canada is taken very seriously. I have been in employments myself where there were things that were going on where I was being mistreated and almost felt like I was being used, and I brought it to the attention of the right sort of authority, and right away there was action that was taken, and I was really happy I spoke up. But we can all sometimes hesitate because we don't have the maybe courage or confidence to do it. This is me telling you, do it. And in the same line, I will say it's also a country where if you're in a bus and someone attacks you or someone says something to you, more often than not, people will speak up and help you out. So I'm not talking about physical attack because, I mean, I don't even know what would happen there. But let's say you're just sitting in a bus and someone starts yelling racial slurs at you, or they're being sexist or something like that. You will find that people will stand up and speak up and help you out and like really fight for you. Let's say you are crossing the street and you fall over with your groceries. A lot of people will come together, help you fill your bags, they'll help you carry your stuff across the street. And that's something I absolutely adore about this culture and this country. And it's so nice that even strangers care about you, which is so interesting given the last thing that I said. So that's something that's really, really remarkable. Let's say on the flip side of being incredibly warm, let's talk about Canada being incredibly bloody cold. Canada gets really, really cold. I'm not going to hold that against the country. With how cold and developed the country is, I feel like there are not enough accommodations for the sort of people who don't have the luxury of a car, who have to take public transit. That's a really, really big thing. And like, the public transit system is like kind of shitty in the sense of where it's not always on time. Buses always show up late. Sometimes they don't show up. And it's such a normality that when someone says, hey, I'm late because the bus didn't show up or whatever, people are like, yeah, that's cool. It happened with me last week. Now, imagine being at a bus stop when it's like minus 20 degrees. It's like fucking like the wind is blowing in your face. You're freezing at a bus stop and then the bus doesn't show up. Whatever, 30 minutes go by, there's no other bus around, you're in the middle of nowhere. That can get very frustrating. And what do? I mean, you might have to call a cab, you call home, let's say your phone is dead. It just sucks. Some of the bigger stops, like the bus stops in Canada, have like the heaters in them. But what about the small bus stops? Like, we are paying so much money, like we pay tax, all hardworking Canadians do their part, pay their taxes for the country so we can all have a better place to live. But at the same time, this is something that really bothers me because there's young kids, there's old people who don't have cars, who don't want cars, maybe who can't afford cars, I don't know. But that shouldn't be a thing in 2018, that we are standing out in the cold in a bus vestibule just like shivering our butt off because the buses aren't showing up. I mean, sometimes the buses and things are late because of the weather or traffic or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that when you're standing at a bus stop, there needs to be some form of accommodation for people who are waiting for that. And I think that also really limits the amount of people who want to use public transit in the country because they don't want to stand in the freezing cold. They rather pay a couple more $100 and just get a car, and ultimately we're just killing the environment that way. So that's my thing. I don't understand the logistics of something like that, but I'm just saying I'm sure there is a way to fix that. My last thing that I'm going to talk about with Canada is that Canada is really a country where comfort can come at a very low price. So it's very easy to have a higher quality of life for a lower cost. So when I say easy, I don't mean to say that the people who don't have a comfortable life are doing something wrong. I'm just saying, compared to, let's say, a teacher working in another country who might not be earning that much money, in Canada, you can have a pretty decent life with the basic necessities, some of which might be considered luxuries in other countries, and have a very comfortable life. And I think that's a really good thing, whether it comes to healthcare, whether it comes to having a home, having, again, a car, having basic things that in a lot of countries are considered luxuries. Having those things in Canada as just a basic commodity is, I think, a very, very beautiful thing. And I don't think enough people express gratitude or see how thankful they should be for that. So every time I travel the world and I come back to Canada, I realize more and more every time how lucky and blessed I am that my family decided to immigrate here so we could have this kind of life. And I'm really happy to call this place home. Now, let's end this on a bad side, because how else should we end this video? Speaking of healthcare, the big thing about Canada when it comes to healthcare is the wait time. Whether you are in the emergency room trying to get a doctor to look at something, you could be in the emergency room for like 8 hours, or whether you need to get like a medical procedure done from a specialist, you first have to go to your family doctor, get the referral for the specialist, then you might have to wait anywhere upwards of there have been articles where people have waited up to a year to get a procedure done. So I'm sure when there is an urgency attached to the procedure, they do rush the process, but at the same time, it can be a huge inconvenience for a lot of people. I have met people who've needed to get some things done and they have had to be on the wait list for up to 8 months, where they just didn't have a choice. And some people do end up flying overseas and getting things done, but that is a big thing. And I think like you don't really think about it until you're in that position where you need to get something done and you need that medical attention, or you want that medical attention right away, but you're told, hey, your problem isn't that important, you need to wait a year. And you feel like you just, you know, you feel small in that moment. So yeah, it can break your heart. Anyways, you guys, I really hope you guys are enjoying the videos that I've been uploading. I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize if it is a little bit long, but again, my goal with you guys is to be as honest and as forthcoming and myself as I can. So don't forget, these are my opinions. I'm not an immigration agent. These are just things that I want to talk to you guys about, and I can definitely understand the struggle of living in and traveling to different countries. So you know what, I just want to spread the love, you know. And they say you can only give what you have, and I think I have a lot of love to give. So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and if it's not Valentine's Day, hey, don't stop loving, because it's a great feeling, right? Think strong always, you guys. Please don't forget to share this video with anyone who could use it. And please don't forget to subscribe. My goal is to hit 50,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is in April, which will make me so happy. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys again very soon.